That is my son being assaulted by one of the wrestling coaches at Kearsley High School. He was fired for the incident.
And that was exclusive video of what a mother says was a coach attacking her son at Kearsley High School. We're going to get to the interview, the exclusive interview with her in just a moment. But hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm Dave Bondy. You may know me as the guy from TV News, but I left my job in TV News so I could go independent, give you the real story that wasn't always being given out there in the media. I hope you can join me here on Locals. On this platform, it's where you're going to get all of my exclusive content. You can sign up and be a paid supporter, or you can join for free. But I'd really hope you could become a supporter to help what I'm doing. Okay, let's get to this story. I talked to the mother of the child. He's 17 years old, so he's not really a child. He's still a teenager. He's 17. I talked to her just a short time ago, and she tells me exactly what happened. I also have a statement from the school district. I'll be getting into that after the interview. So go ahead, watch this. Share this out with your friends, and please sign up to be a supporter right here on Local so you can see everything that I do. Let's get to the interview. I am with Jen right now. A lot of people have been tagging me on Facebook of a video that you posted, and I can play it here as well. But what is this video that you put on your Facebook page?
That is my son being assaulted by one of the wrestling coaches at Kearsley High School. He was fired for the incident. However, there was another coach that was present and did not do anything to protect him. You'll see at the end of the video that there's a couple kids that walked out, and one of them stepped in between the coach and my son.
Wow. Okay. And this didn't just happen. It happened back on February 2nd, I think?
Yes.
But it took you a while. Did you have to file a Freedom of Information request to get the video or something?
I had to request it in writing.
Okay. Were they... It's kind of disturbing because how old is your son?
He just turned 17 in December.
Okay. And you had said before when we were talking, were they arguing? I mean, that still doesn't have the right to anyone put out hands on anybody.
Right. So what had happened is my son was talking to that gentleman, her son, about he was going to ask him how he did at wrestling. And just flew off the handle, verbally assaulted him, told him that, shut the F up and so on and so forth. My son verbally replied inappropriately, and he was told to leave. And as my son's walking out, you'll see, you see the rest of the video. The coach was in his face walking out of the room, out into the hallway.
So your son didn't probably respond appropriately, but in your words, not enough to have that happen to him.
No, absolutely not. And, there was another coach, an assistant coach that was present there at the time, and he didn't try to do anything to stop the situation from happening.
Well, the superintendent sent me a statement saying they acknowledge it happened. They forwarded it over to law enforcement. Do you have any idea, were charges ever filed? I'm going to check, but...
There's an ongoing investigation currently.
Okay. And he mentioned something in the email about the properly trained de-escalation strategies. Well, that'd say the least, because you're dealing with teenagers and there's lots of issues where things happen and you should never put your hands on somebody.
Yes, I mean, there's a factor of common sense, too. If I'm sitting there and I'm watching somebody verbally assault a child, I'm going to get involved right then.
That's true. And you said there were other adults there that didn't, you said.
Yes. And on top of that, a couple weeks after the fact, that same gentleman that was present and the head coach of the wrestling team were out in a practice it was for the high school kids, but it was held at Mott Community College. And the one that assaulted my child, was allowed to attend and participate during practice. They never called the athletic director. They never called anybody from the school system to notify them. In fact, they didn't know until I called them to tell them what I had found out.
Wow.
And I asked that something be done about these coaches because obviously they're not taking it serious what had occurred.
Yeah. What happened? Did they respond to you right away? And
They have not responded to me.
have you heard from anybody?
No, not unless I go to them and ask questions.
So wait a minute. You haven't actually got like an apology from the superintendent, the school board, the coach, nobody.
No, so I've talked to everybody, the superintendent, assistant superintendent, principal, assistant principal, athletic director, and the head of the board. I did receive a letter from the head of the board that, in a nutshell, said that, my son had helped to cause the issue. And that was, I don't quote me.
Yeah.
But in so many words, he said that his action helped to escalate the situation. And that's why my son was suspended for the rest of the wrestling season.
So, I mean, did your son physically assault anybody that you know? No. So it was a verbal.
Yeah.
And
So he was suspended the rest of the season, which was about a month. The other coaches that aren't taking things seriously, they were coaching through the rest of the season.
Yeah, and you're not, the part that's bad is where they literally, well, no one stopped it, but that they actually put hands up, touched your son.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And also, I've asked numerous times, what are you going to do differently? What's going to be done differently? Because my son is the second child in less than a year and a half to be choked by a coach at Kearsley High School.
Has that been out there at all anywhere?
Yes, the other one, it was out in the news.
Oh, okay, I'll look that up. I think I remember that. I'll after we're done, I'll look that up. And yeah, so that's concerning then. So apparently they did terminate the coach. It looks like, he's on administrative leave. He was terminated according to their
Yes.
February 5th. So that's good at least for you. But you're saying there's other adults there who should have known better.
Absolutely. I mean, it's common sense. You don't need any training to know that you should protect a child in that environment.
How's your son? How's he doing? I mean, you said he had some issues. We all do nowadays. But how's he doing after all this?
He doesn't like that it's public. He's very embarrassed. He doesn't want to relive it. But it's my hope that something will be done differently and very soon so that other children are not assaulted at this high school. I've asked numerous times, what are they going to do differently? The only thing I got was that they're thinking about, and they've talked about, doing Cat 6 training for coaches. I also suggested that the students probably need some training to protect themselves from the adults.
That's scary that it has to be that way.
I had no definitive answer.
Yeah. So why did you put it on your Facebook page after it happened?
I wanted the public to be aware, to look out for their child, to ask questions. Because this, like I said, it's not an isolated incident. It's happened twice in less than a year and a half.
Should it have been made public on their part? Should it not have to been up to you? I mean, they could have made it public without giving names or anything, and I'm not going to say the name of your child. Should they have put it out to everybody and just been upfront and let them know?
Absolutely. Absolutely, they should have.
Because as a parent, you want to know what's going on. And a lot of people are having issues with public schools and schools lately, and this doesn't help the case.
Yes. And on top of that, there's another coach slash teacher that's been harassing my son all year. And I finally went toe-to-toe with a group of them a couple weeks ago and said, you need to do something. You've been aware of this situation. It's been ongoing since the beginning of the school year. This problem needs to stop. I got no response. We'll talk to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're hoping that hopefully it will bring to light, hopefully changes will happen, but
Yes.
not just that school, because I'm sure there could be things happening in other schools across the country we don't know about. So it's always good if things come to light, because hiding stuff's never going to help anybody.
No, it's not.
Okay. Well, I'm praying for you, your son. I'm not obviously mentioning his name. And I hope the best that, everyone can learn from this, I guess. It's sad that it had to happen.
Yes, I just want to see change, and I want to see that our kids are safe.
And once again, I did reach out to the school district, and I did get a statement from the district. I want to read that for you right now. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Take a look at this. This comes from Paul Goddard, the superintendent at the Kearsley Community Schools. He says, quote, "Once we became aware of this incident that occurred on the evening of Friday, February 2nd, our assistant wrestling coach was immediately placed on administrative leave as we conducted our investigation. We immediately contacted law enforcement and other appropriate authorities. Following this conclusion of our district investigation, the coach was then terminated on the next business day, Monday, February 5th. As a district, we remain committed to the safety of all students and have already begun plans to implement additional professional learning opportunities to ensure all coaches are properly trained in de-escalation strategies and the emotional situations that arise in athletics." That is from the superintendent. And if you notice during the interview, I deleted or silenced the name of the coach because at this point, he has not been charged with a crime. I am told by the mom that the investigation is continuing. She is the one who did give me that video. She obtained that video through a Freedom of Information request through the school district. That's how she obtained it. If and when charges are filed against that coach, I will obviously put out his mugshot, put out his name. But as of now, we're not saying his name because he has not at this point been charged. So that's it right there. Share this out with your friends and make sure you're following me right here on Locals. I will put a link where you can sign up to support my Locals community and support my independent journalism. When I was reporting, I could only do like a minute 30 on a story like this. Now, I could do a whole half hour if I want. Support me, everybody, and talk to you later.